ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ 'ਚ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਪ੍ਰਭਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਰਕਾਰੀਆ ਤੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਨ ਈਲੀਅੰਟ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸੂਬੇ ਦੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਪ੍ਰਣਾਲੀ ਤੇ ਵਿਸਥਾਰ ਅਤੇ ਸੁਧਾਰ ਲਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਯੋਜਨਾ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ। इस योजना च वाधू सेहत संभाल कर्मचारियों की भर्ती, नर्सिंग ग्रैजुएटां लई एक घट सेवा वाले खेतर च काम करन दे बदले पूरी ट्यूशन अदायगी प्राप्त करन लई $142 मिलियन की ग्रांट शामिल है।
Ontario's hospitals have been the first line of defense in the province's battle against COVID-19. I can't think of a more fitting venue for today's announcements. The past 2 years have been unlike anything the people of Ontario have ever experienced. Far too many have seen significant impacts to their jobs, their businesses, their lifestyles, and tragically, their loved ones. We have all made tremendous sacrifices to protect one another, and across this province, people have made tireless sacrifices and demonstrated the Ontario spirit that saw us through the worst days of the COVID-19 pandemic. The same Ontario spirit that will see us to a brighter and more prosperous future. But to build a stronger Ontario, we must learn from the past. Early on in the fight against COVID-19, one thing became clear. After decades of mismanagement and ignored warning calls, the province's healthcare system was not ready for such a massive shock. From battling hallway healthcare, to not having enough doctors and nurses to care for our loved ones, to discovering stockpiles of PPE were expired, leaving us no choice but to use and rely on other jurisdictions for supply. Across every metric, there were significant and long-standing gaps in Ontario's healthcare and pandemic preparedness. Gaps that should have never been allowed to leave so many vulnerable for so long. But I'm proud that our government has made considerable progress towards closing these long-standing. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, your government has moved swiftly and boldly to address the long-standing problems plaguing our healthcare system.
Our government made historic investments to protect our communities and to strengthen our healthcare system. This includes $5.1 billion invested in hospitals since the start of the pandemic. We've added over 3,100 beds so that patients can get the care they need. Over 23 million PCR tests have been completed, and over 135 million rapid antigen tests have been distributed to businesses as well as to the general public. Team Ontario has administered over 32 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, and over 86% of eligible Ontarians are now fully vaccinated. All of that hard work has led us to where we are today, a place where our province can safely manage COVID-19 for the long term. Looking back, the most important lesson we've learned is that we cannot allow ourselves to be unprepared again. We need to build a stronger, more resilient healthcare system that Ontarians can rely on now as well as into the future.